This collection is a result of many years of appreciating and admiring everything that Hermes creates. Hi guys, my name is G.P.S. and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be slightly different as we're getting ready to move in the next few weeks. So I thought, why not share with you a few pieces from my Hermes home and furniture collection while, quite frankly, the apartment is still intact and before we start moving things out. I do already have a couple of videos on Hermes home. I believe I have a video on recommendations on how to start your Hermes home collection, as well as a video on Hermes dinnerware and glasses, so I'll make sure to link both of those down below. But today we'll be focusing on mainly things that you specifically asked about, and a couple of things that you might have not seen in previous videos, and a little bit of background information about this collection. This is a result of many years of admiring and appreciating everything that the brand creates. And I will try to make sure to show you a range of different kind of products because you might want to invest quite a bit of money into your home collection, or you might want to go down a different route to add a touch of Hermes to your home. So I'll make sure to include a wide range of different type of products. But without further ado, let's go on a tour. Let's start with the couch because this is the place where I used to film. And there are actually quite a few Hermes pieces surrounding this spot. So let's start here. And the first thing that I get a lot of questions about is actually this silk pillow that I have right here. I have two of them. And I get a lot of questions asking me if this is a piece by Hermes, if this is a replica, if it's something that was just inspired by Hermes. But this is an actual Hermes scarf that I picked up in the sale. And I had every intention of turning it into a pillow because Hermes used to offer this service that you could buy a scarf from them in I think any size that you wanted to, but mainly in the 90 centimeter size, which is this one. This is the 90 centimeter scarf. And they would turn it into a pillow for you. So I bought this scarf in the sale, and then I bought another scarf directly from Hermes, and I had every intention of sending them away and having them turned into a pillow. But when my essay was doing her research to see what she would have to do with the pillows, where she would have to send them so they can turn them into a pillow, she actually found out that they no longer offer this service. The only things that you can do with a scarf at this point is either buy a couple of scarves and turn them into a men's shirt, or you can use their scarves in their blazers and jackets that they can custom make for you, but they no longer make them into pillows. But since I already had this scarf from the sale and then I had another scarf, which you might have seen in previous videos of mine, I thought I would take them to my own seamstress and see if she could do anything with them. And personally, I think she did an incredible job. I mean, you could never tell that this is not a piece done by Hermes, considering that the actual design is a brainchild of Hermes, and the scarf is obviously an authentic Hermes scarf. So I'll show you guys exactly how she turned these two scarves into a pillow. But essentially she just turned each edge inward and created a smaller square. And she put a seam here, another seam here, and then embedded a zipper on the back. And that was pretty much it. And then we measured the exact size of this cover, which is made of the silk. And I just ordered the most basic, simple pillow from Amazon, and I just stuffed this pillowcase. And that's how my scarf came to life as a brand new pillow, which I'm so incredibly happy with. So I'll bring you guys up close so you can have a look at the exact process that my seamstress used to turn the scarf into the pillow. I get a lot of questions on how these pillows were created, and I have to be honest, I did not make them myself. I was just simply inspired by a design that Hermes used to offer. And I essentially just bought a couple of scarves and took them to my seamstress. And this is what we came up with. So she essentially folded the scarf around the edges. I'll show you on another scarf exactly how she folded them. But essentially just folded the scarf into a smaller square and put a seam line here and another seam line here. And then she embedded a longer zipper on this seam line to make it super easy for me to take the pillow in and out. So the pillow is not actually stuck on the inside. I can take it out in case I want to have the scarf dry cleaned. I asked my seamstress if she has any tips or tricks that she would recommend that I share with you. And she said that it's actually a really easy job. If you're experienced with a sewing machine, you can easily do this yourself. The only thing that she said was a little bit difficult was working with the fabric because the silk was very slippery. So she said that wasn't the easiest thing. Otherwise, she said that it really wasn't difficult. But I think she did an incredible job. And I think a lot of people would have never been able to guess that this was not professionally done by Hermes, but it was done by an outside seamstress. And I'm very, very happy with these. So let me show you on another scarf the exact process that she used. So if I show you another scarf, which is just a regular scarf 19 from my collection, you guys can see that it is a perfect square. So what my seamstress did is she essentially laid out the scarf just like this. And then I believe she folded the scarf around the edges. And it was really as simple as that. As you guys can see, obviously this is just a rough mock-up of how the scarf was created, but this is the concept behind it. You essentially just fold the scarf to make a smaller square, and then you sew the scarf together here on that line and also on another line here. And then you'll want to use a zipper either here or on this seam, just to make sure that you can open it and close it in case you want to stuff it with a pillow, which I would definitely recommend that you do. But it is really as simple as that. If you're experienced with a sewing machine, or if you have a seamstress you trust, all you need is a scarf in size 90 or whichever size you prefer. I have been using a scarf 90 for all of my pillows, and it's pretty much as simple as that. And then I'll try to turn it around, which actually makes quite a nice pillow, so maybe I should consider turning this scarf into a pillow as well. And then right next to my silk pillow on the same couch, I have the so-called Avalon Pillow, which I think is one of the most popular pieces from the Hermes home range. You can see this really often in magazines, in celebrities' homes, and not necessarily just celebrities, but people who are into interior design, because this is a widely available, very popular piece. I got mine in the so-called Avalon 3 design, which has this really interesting check like pattern on it. The regular Avalon is just four blocks with the H inside and then a larger block in the middle. But I wanted to get mine in gray, and the color gray was only available in the Avalon 3 print, which I'm perfectly happy with. I wanted to use gray because the entire apartment has more of a neutral color scheme to it. So I thought that this would be a nice color that would go in this apartment, and in our next apartment it would also be great regardless of what color scheme we choose or what is going to be the main inspiration in terms of style. It's just a piece that goes with anything and everything. You can use it in a bedroom, in a living room, in a kid's room. It really doesn't matter. And now my entire living room is looking really great because the scarf that I actually hung right above my couch in the scarf system is also gray. And then I have another Avalon piece right behind these pillows here, which is the matching Avalon blanket, which again is an extremely popular piece. I'm sure you're familiar with this, and I really like the way they look together. I don't know if I would like them separate, but together I think they make a great set for any living room or bedroom. It just ties the entire apartment together. And I think just these two pieces can transform an entire room and an apartment into a much more luxurious and cohesive interior. So I'm really, really happy that I was able to add both of these to my collection. I don't think that the quality is the best because, as you guys can see, the fabric that they are made of is actually not cashmere. It's 90% wool and 10% cashmere. And they do peel quite a bit, even though I don't personally really use them. As you guys can see, they are just almost decorative pieces. I never put my head on the pillow, or I never use this to actually cover myself up because it's not the most comfortable. They did start peeling quite early on, so in case that happens to you, don't worry. I think it's just the quality of these. They are made of natural fibers, so it's almost inevitable for them to start balling up. But with these two specific pieces, I find that it happened early on. It's just something that I wanted to bring your attention to, but I find that the peeling is much more noticeable on the blanket than it is on the pillow. And as I mentioned, right above my couch, I have this scarf hanging system, also from Hermes, which is actually the same thing that they use in their stores to display scarves. I don't think I'm going to talk about this in this video because it is one that I think deserves its own dedicated video. So if it's something that you would like to see from me in the future, then let me know in the comment section down below because I get a lot of questions about this. But long story short, I'm a fan of it, and I'd be more than happy to elaborate on that. But as you guys can see, the scarf is very much color coordinated with the colors I used on the couch. Next up, I wanted to introduce you to a piece that's been in many videos of mine, especially towards the beginning of my channel, because I filmed the majority of my videos sitting in this chair when I first started making videos. But I don't think you have ever actually seen this chair in all of its glory. And it is one of the very first pieces of actual furniture that we have bought from Hermes, and it is the so-called Metier Chair. This piece was designed by Enzo Mari, who is an Italian architect, and he took a very interesting approach when he was designing pieces for Hermes. He looked at some of the most upscale and expensive and luxurious chairs, and he broke them down to the core elements that are required to create, obviously, such an elegant and refined piece. And he basically poured all of his findings into this very minimalistic design, which I personally love because it's not really something that you would expect to see from a brand like Hermes that's a little bit more old school and focused on their heritage, whereas this chair I find to be more modern, yet it has some touches from the Hermes heritage. For example, the use of leather and the use of saddle stitching. And also the wood that they used for this chair, which is walnut, is an element that Hermes uses in their home decor pieces over and over again. You might have seen this chair around in Hermes stores. They usually have it displayed around their dining table because I think it's recommended to be used as a dining chair. But personally, we have been using this at my little office area, which is right here. And I paired it with this super simple desk, which was, I don't even know, less than a couple $100. So I love mixing and matching things just like in fashion you do. I love doing the same thing in interior design. I personally love this chair. It doesn't matter what the style of your home is. I don't think it would ever look out of place. It's a true conversation starter. And this is truly an investment. It's a piece that you're going to have in your collection forever. But if I want to be really honest, it's not the most comfortable. So if comfort is a priority for you and you prefer more ergonomically designed chairs, this might not be the one that you want to go for because it's not the most comfortable, especially if you want to spend hours and hours sitting in this every day. But when it comes to the aesthetics, I've never seen a more beautifully designed chair than this. The piece I wanted to end this video on is actually this one, which I have in my kitchen. And I'm sorry about the lighting, but I feel like if I turn on the overhead lighting, it's going to be a little bit too warm. But now I feel like it's too dark, so let me just turn it on really quick. Here we go. I think it looks a little bit better. So this is actually a piece of wallpaper that I have from Hermes that I ended up framing. I had a bunch of wallpaper samples from the brand because when we first moved into this apartment, I was looking into buying some wallpaper for the living room and for the bathroom, but I never ended up moving ahead with it. It just sounded really complicated. So instead, I bought the scarf hanging system. And I had all these wallpaper samples just lying around the apartment for almost a year. And then one time we were in IKEA and I found these really simple frames, which were, I think, under $20 or maybe even $15. So I ended up buying these white frames. And because I had all these wallpaper samples, I thought it would be the perfect way of displaying them so they just don't go to waste. So I have this Sean Dunker inspired wallpaper in the kitchen, and then I have another one in the bathroom. And I think it came out really nicely. If you want to add a touch of Hermes or a touch of luxury to your home, this is really a great way of starting because all you need is just a frame. You can buy this exact same one from IKEA. I highly recommend it because it already comes with this white edge, so it makes it easier for you. But you can also repurpose a frame that you already have at home. And in case you were wondering about the wallpapers, this is exactly what the wallpaper looked like when it first arrived. It was essentially just a sheet of paper with a wallpaper pattern on it. And as you guys can see, it has all the Hermes information on it, including the barcode, the name, and the sizing. And all I did is I chose a couple of them that I wanted to display on my walls. I took this and essentially put it in a frame. It was really as easy as that. But let's say you cannot get to an Hermes store or they're not willing to send you samples, which by the way just arrived in a simple envelope. Then you can also take these from the website and print them yourself. You can easily take them to a professional printer if you want to, or if you have a good enough printer that you can print them. The size isn't that unique. I think it's just a traditional A4 paper size. So you can easily print this yourself from their website. It can be a really easy but fun DIY hack that you can do to bring a piece of Hermes into your home. And funny enough, every time we have friends over or someone comes around, they always ask about this, even though it's probably the most simplistic piece that we have. There was really not much thought and effort put into this. Yet this is the one that gets the most attention, so it's interesting. But if you want to add just a touch of luxury to your home, I think this is a really good way of going about it, because it really doesn't require much investment. And even if you don't like how it ends up looking, you can always change the wallpaper in the frame and you can pretty much repurpose it for whatever you want to. Or if you get more wallpapers from the store, you can keep changing it depending on your mood or the season. But I personally would highly recommend the Shandong pattern because it just really goes with everything. After putting this one picture up, I thought that it might be a little bit just too quiet for this wall space because the wall is a little bit bigger here. So what I was thinking about doing is maybe buying another picture frame to put up there and then another one there. And I was going to frame this very same pattern but in different colorways in each of the frames to have this sort of repetition design, but I never ended up getting around to doing it. So I ended up with just this one, which was a great experiment. But in case you have a bigger wall space that you don't know what to do with, you can always just use this sort of repetition design to break up a larger piece of white wall. And this is it, guys. This completes my video on a few of my Hermes pieces. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!